Okay, hey YouTube. Today I have my deck profile for my most recent regional that I went to, and I played, as you can see, Runick White Forest. I wanted to play the most competitive version of this deck that there really was because I really enjoy the Diabell, or not the Diabell, the White Forest cards, and I wanted to have the best kind of chances at doing well at this tournament. So I thought this would be the best version to take. Oops. And yeah, apologies for this being a bit of a late upload. I just got back, what was it, last night. I had work today. I'm really tired, and this is my third time recording this. So hopefully this is the last time that I have to do this. So yeah, but I wanted to show you guys the profile because I thought the deck performed really well. There are some changes I would have made. I ended up going X3 after 5 rounds. I think some of the rounds I really think I should have won, but got a bit unlucky in certain places, and I can talk about some of those cards that I think cost me when we get to them. But starting off with the Runick stuff, 2 Fountain, obviously, 3 Tip, 3 Freezing Curses, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 Destruction, 3 Slumber, 1 Dispelling, and 1 Smiting Storm. So this is 17 Runick names, but I didn't feel like I saw them anywhere near as much as I wanted to, which is kind of shocking when you have 17 cards in your deck that are like 1 card, not exactly starters, but they can do a lot for your deck. And yeah, that's maybe I bump this up to 18, add another Smiting Storm, add a Droplet, I don't know. It's it's pretty wild how many Runicks I can have in my deck and still feel like I need more. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think in this deck especially, like, I wanted to see more than even other Runick combo decks that I've played, like Runick Sprite for Hire. Onto the White Force stuff, we have 3 Elzet, 3 Sylvie, 2 Rusia, and then we have the 3, let's put it, 3 Woes of the White Force. So, okay, there's a couple things. One, no Stellar, because it's pretty fragile in this deck, although I was tempted to play 1 as something I can just search to help me combo a bit more. I think that has some potential to not be like your main play, but something that can also help you summon it back when you're sending spells for costs and stuff. So it can be recursion, it can be it can help you play when you're starting with a Zet and you already have like maybe a Rusia or a Sylvie or something like that. But yeah, but I think for now, because it's a very fragile normal summon, I think it's in this version of the deck, it's okay to not play any. And then 3 Woes is so funny. So many people, when I searched the second Woes, were like super confused or like really shocked that I was playing 3. I think in Runick, this is absolutely mandatory to play 3. It's just so good. It's a free discard off of Hugin, and if you get stopped on your Hugin and you don't really have another way to play and you can't search a fountain, you can reset this and you still have like a Book of Eclipse on your opponent's turn, which is still pretty decent. And it also helps in the grind game because this deck, when you're playing with Runicks, there's a lot of times you don't have your battle phase. So you need to be able to keep playing, keep interrupting your opponent for their next follow-up turn. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty good setup. Also, there's only 8 monsters in my deck, and I think my round 3, yeah, it was round 3, game 3, I ended up drawing half the monsters in my deck in my opening hand. I drew like double Sylvie, double Rusia, and I think maybe like an evenly or something. So I think that's like when I'm talking about some of the luck, it's like, sometimes it's just, not your day. And, there's some changes that I can make though. So I think if I make some slight tweaks, I think I could have gotten like even higher than I did. I played 2 Upstart. This can just be added back with Diabell and draw again. It's just a really good card. It's now at 3, but I only wanted to play 2 because this deck already kind of sucks playing into Droll, which I didn't come up against that often, thankfully. But I also played one Desires of this. I'm taking out. Let's just get rid of this, because there's twice where I banished 3 of one Runick name. I banished 3 Flashing Fire in one of my losses, where if I could have just used my Runick tip to search a Flashing Fire, I would have won. Like, guaranteed I would have won. I would have, like, it was at a game state where I knew for sure that would have been the case, but I banished all 3 of them off of it, which was really unfortunate. And then there was another round where I used just the one Desires, and I banished all 3 Runick Destruction. So, you know, stuff like that happens. It's really unfortunate. But, you know, when you play with cards that have, you know, random type effects, that's the risk you run, I guess. Definitely unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. I also play one Skill Drain. This card just busted. It's still at 1. You can draw into it off of your fountain, which is really nice, and I can just flip this, slow the game down, and just cook with my Runics. It's kind of dumb. But, yeah. And then the 3 non-engine, I played 3 Dark Ruler and 3 Evenly. I didn't think this would be too much, because I was kind of worried about decks like Yubel Fiendsmith, where they can put out multiple negates. They could even stop Dark Ruler, but I don't know. It was just something where I didn't feel like I would have that easy of a time playing into some of the more oppressive decks. I didn't actually play against Tempai. It was a lot of Fiendsmith Yubel, a lot of Snake Eye Fire King. There's some Labyrinth in there, some White Forest in there. It was a pretty heavy meta day, which you know, Tempai definitely is still. Tempai is still a crazy deck, but luckily I didn't come up against it, which I'm really happy about. But yeah, there's one round I went first. I opened up 2 Evenly and 1 Dark Ruler, and I'm pretty sure I would have been able to win that match if it wasn't for a game 1 where going first, I basically had a way to just completely blow out my opponent. Excuse me. So if I had gone second in that match, I'm pretty sure I would have won even in 2 rounds, or 2 games. But you know, it is what it is. That's one of the things I think I would change, and that's one of the things I think is not needed, is also the 3 Dark Ruler. I would take the 3 Dark Ruler out, keep the 3 Evenly, and maybe play. I was thinking of Synchro Zone, playing 2 of that. I mean, protecting my stuff in the battle phase with it, I think, is actually pretty strong for this deck. So I found my opponent trying to go battle phase and attack over some of my more dangerous interrupt, like just having a level 2 on board or a level 4 on board with my Book of Eclipse or with my Woes set, like really threatened a lot of people. So having a battle phase where they can't just attack stuff would have been really nice. So I think that's a change I would make. Onto the extra deck, 1 Diabel, 1 Resilia. I think I'm getting that right. Who knows? I keep getting it wrong anyway. But then 1 Silvera. These are really good. You only need 1 of each, obviously, because they're easily recurable. There's only one time where I did end up having my Diabel get banished. Against Fiendsmith Yubel, I think it was. They bestialed it, and I only had 1. I think it was a Sylvie engraved to bounce it back, so I couldn't chain Rusia to protect it. I still ended up winning that match, but it would have been over much quicker if I had gotten to Diabel. If I'd able to reuse Diabel. 1 Coral Dragon. This is a really good card. A draw 1 into Diabel. To add something back is just crazy. 1 Dawn Dragster. This card's really good in this deck. You just summon a Munin and use one of your level 4 tuners to make this. Spell Trap Negate is something that is pretty strong, just generally, against board breakers, against like Cosmics your opponent has for your fountain. And if they don't have board breakers, there's a lot of decks that have spells that are part of their engine, so you could just use that and stop a big part of their engine. So when changing, this card is absolutely busted in this deck because all of Runicks trigger this. So I'm just constantly banishing stuff from their field and grave and just controlling the game. And this I went into a lot, and I even wish I was able to go into it even more. It was just such a busted card for my deck. Honestly, genuinely thinking about playing 2 because of some of the times they would be able to get rid of this. I really wanted another one in my extra deck to be able to summon, but you know, that might be a bit overkill. I'm not 100% sure. But you know, I think that probably would be overkill. But you know, just such a good card in this deck. And then the Zapper Shrimp to summon off of Diabel to go into our Chenging. And then I picked up this German Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend that I thought looked really cool before the tournament. And I wanted to play it because a lot of my locals matches I only played 1 locals beforehand, but my locals matches pretty much almost all went to time, and I'm pretty good with Runick combo decks. I know what they do and I can play the deck pretty fast, but you know, my opponents don't always play that fast, and that's something I actually even ran into at the tournament a decent bit. There was, I think, there's either 2 or 3 of my opponents were doing what I would be considered like purposeful slow playing. You know, I have a hard time telling my opponents to speed it up because I'm fairly shy, to be honest, but and I have a harder time. But it's something that you need to do. If your opponent isn't playing fast enough, you just need to tell them to, hey, speed it up, because you know they're not allowed to play that slow usually. So yeah, anyway, I wanted this for time. It was about to come up once. I didn't end up summoning it. No, I did summon it once. I ended up clearing a board. It wasn't in a situation where I was needing to burn for to win in time, but it was just something I needed to do to help clear the board. And yeah, it was still a good card. Only summoned it once, but maybe not necessary. But it was, you know, it was one of those things where it's nice to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, you know. Then for the Runicks, I played 2 Hugin, 1 Munin, and 2 Gary. I definitely think I would have liked to bump Hugin back up to 3. I was playing 3, but I wanted to fit in the RDA, the Scarlight. And so I knocked Hugin down to 2. I think I would have been a little more comfortable playing it at 3. But yeah, but that's hindsight, you know, and I think not playing this version of this deck for very long, you know, different Runick versions, different combo Runick decks play differently. So it was bound to be something where, you know, I learned as I went. Also 1 Baguska, just, you know, if it's necessary, you know, against decks like Branded, can be kind of busted. And then 1 SP Little Knight. This card is really important for this deck. You know, arguable to play 2 if you can. Although it used to be, I didn't want to get a second one because this was like $100 for the longest time. And I'm not spending 100 just on a second, just on the off chance that I wanted to use a second one during like the occasional match. But yeah, and this deck is just really, really good and really easy to go into as well. Yeah, that's the extra deck. Onto the side deck. This is one of the more unfortunate things. I don't know about unfortunate, but one of the crazy things that happened over my tournament happened, and I'll get into that in just a sec. But I played 3 Nibiru, 3 Phantasme, which I thought was a really good card in the side. I played 3 Lava Golem, which I thought was really good, and then I played a Callby and 2 Cosmics. Now, for those who, I mean, it's not that difficult to count, but you'll notice that this is 12 cards. the last three were three Molcharmies that I played, that I borrowed from a friend. You know, so shout out to them, shout out to Brandon. I sided it in a ton today, or not today, over the weekend. Over 8 rounds, I did not see it once. Not a single time. It was just super unfortunate, especially against decks that would have just, it would have really cooked to see it. It was just so unfortunate. And it's not here because I borrowed him, so I gave him back. Also, I sided in Phantasma in a number of games too. I only saw it, I think, once. And it was like in a grind game where like I didn't even open it. I summoned it on like their SP summon, I think. And you know, my board was already like established. And so it was just really unfortunate. I saw my Cosmics a heck of a lot more than I saw any of my my other stuff, any of my Molcharmies, any of my Phantasmes, which is kind of crazy. I did play Lava Golem. This card was actually really, really solid, I think, for me. Again, I didn't end up seeing it all that much. I didn't see my side that much at all, to be honest, or much at all. But the normal summon thing, where you can't normal summon the turn you special this, isn't that big of a deal because you can just do LZ, Search of Rusia, and like you can still play that way. So I'm not that annoyed that I can't normal summon the turn I special this, and like, you know, tributing two things, like tributing like a Desiree and tributing a Phantom of Yubel or High King Caesar or a Verudrus or whatever it's called is pretty strong, and just with one card you can go 2 for 1 essentially. So I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was decent. I'm happy that I played it. But yeah, so that's really it. It's already at 17 minutes here, so yeah, I had fun at my regionals, and it was definitely a day where I think if just some slight things went different, some slightly better luck, I could have came out with getting my invite for this season. But you know, sometimes luck's not on your side. Sometimes you make a couple decisions that are you know, not the most ideal. You know, sometimes these things happen, and so I'm just looking forward to the next time I get to go to another regional and hopefully top this next one, because I think definitely my next top is coming soon. I can feel it. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments for sure. I'd love to hear them, to talk to you guys about them. And yeah, we're already at 18 minutes, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace.